Well, thanks to my mates at Heavy Duty Magazine, I got to ride probably the most exciting bike in town that not a lot of people know about. Back in 2020, BMW released the R18, and there was a lot of things I didn't like about it. I mean, it was an awesome bike in a whole lot of ways, but it wasn't quite there. And with the new model, with the ROCTANE, they've changed all the things that I didn't like about it, that's for sure. But the big thing to love about the R18s is the fact that they follow what BMW does so well, which is a great big flat twin with a single plate dry clutch right behind it and a drive shaft that leads to a diff. Now basically that's almost automotive. In fact, if you were to add 2 more cylinders, you'd have a Volkswagen, 2 more cylinders and 2 more wheels. But this combination works so well when you're touring in Australia. It always has done. I've had BMWs in my shed since I was 18. In fact, I still got the first one, although these days it's plugging a big 1000cc motor instead of the old 600. And along the way, there's always been a BM. My current touring bike even is a GS. Look, you just can't beat that combination when you're doing big miles, where really at the end of the day, all you ever need to worry about is tyres, petrol, checking the oil. That's about it. You don't have to worry about dirt roads because everything's sealed up. You don't have to worry about chains or belts or any of the other stuff. I love my Harleys. I love my old Norton. I'll take anybody's Jap bike for a fang anytime. There's a GSXR sitting in the shed. But if I need to be in Victoria tomorrow and Perth the day after, then it's going to be a BMW. This is what BMW does really well, and this is a prime example of it. Now, the ROCTANE is one of 5 R18s these days. And I'll tell you what's changed from my point of view. Things I really like, that whole blacked out deal with the motor, the pipes, it just takes away from the bubbly looking chrome that the first model had. I mean, that was just the look of the thing. I guess my biggest gripe was the rear suspension. Because it's a hidden single shock system, it just used to bottom out. But somehow they've revised all of that. It doesn't bottom out at all. It's got adjustable preload and it works really well. Other things I didn't like, the first time I went to go somewhere on the R18, I realised it had nowhere to strap anything. Well, now, look at these bags. I mean, you wouldn't really call it a bagger, but by crikey, these are just beautiful and typical of what we've come to expect from real German engineering. And make no mistake, this bike is built in Berlin, which means they're really proud of it. And the bike's longer. It's got a 21-inch front wheel now instead of the 19 and an 18 rear. And they've changed the steering head a little bit, just looped it out just a bit. And the combination, well, it all adds to probably the best low-speed stability you've ever felt. It's absolutely amazing. The only thing that throws it off is the motor itself, with a couple of 900cc slugs jamming from side to side. When you start it, it rocks. Apart from that, wow. Really loves low revs, you know, sort of 2,000 to 3,000 is where it really happens. It'll rev right out if you want it to. And if you're going to start riding on the crazy side of things, you'll be glad to know the brakes work brilliantly, really progressive. Blokes with long legs and big feet might find it a little cramped in there behind the cylinders. I heard lots of issues with gear changing, but then again, it's got a rocker gear change. That's the brake pedal, but on the other side it's got a rocker gear change and it works perfectly as a rocker gear change. You just have to use the heel instead of the toe. Look, it's just something you've got to grow into, I guess, like all BMWs. They've always been a little bit different. They do what they do really well. The quality on this, the build quality is absolutely superb. It rides well, it's powerful. You can cruise on it all day long. And I guess at the end of the day, if you're going to buy one bike for the next 20 years and clock up 500,000 Ks, well, BMW have built the bike for you. Don't take my word for it. If you want the full test and where it sits and everything else, Heavy Duty, issue 193 coming out fairly soon. It'll have Dave Cohen's full test on it, and Dave's one of the most respected motorcycle testers in the country. If you just get one little test ride on a ROCTANE, you're going to really enjoy it, but it won't tell you the whole story. BMWs are the sort of motorcycles that, you know, they take years to learn. And this one's no exception. It really isn't. All up, the ROCTANE rocks.